Good day, beautiful people. Welcome to the Voice of Reason with me, Andreas. GB News. I think it's about time now that people need to stop looking at these presenters, stop looking at the rhetoric that they're spewing, and I think it's about time we look at the people behind GB News, the investors, the financial backers, nay, the owners of GB News. I think we should get them into the light of the public, and you'll find some very interesting things that I've found as well. So, if you aren't aware of what GB News are, they're a free-to-air, opinion-oriented television and radio news channel. We're going to say news because it's like that, because they have a certain way of leaning in their direction of news for their narrative and agenda. But we're not going to go into that right now, nor are we going to go into the multiple Ofcom breaking regulations that they have been accused of and being currently investigated for. We're not going to talk about that right now. But GB News is jointly owned by hedge fund manager Sir Paul Marshall and investment firm Legatum. Keep that name in mind. Under the umbrella of a holding company, All Perspectives Limited, which is headquartered in London. Now, as of August 2022, All Perspectives Limited has been taken over control by 3 significant shareholders from Dubai investment firm Legatum. So, basically, Sir Paul Marshall owns a chunk of GB News and Legatum own the rest. These are the 2 main people putting in the money. Now, you might be wondering, what is Legatum? Legatum is a think tank. It's a group of financial investors who've gotten together, who are pooling their resources and putting money in lots of different places to have a lot of influence and control, which is why we need to have a look at what Legatum are right here. Now, this is the About section from the Legatum website itself. As you can see down here, this is the information where it was pulled from, the Legatum Group. So, it's a global investment firm that uses its capital, energy and ideas to support people around the world. Company founded in 2006 by Christopher Chandler, Alan McCormick, Mark Stolson, Philip Vassalou. Legatum's name means legacy or gift. Okay, so this is literally what they are. They are essentially a think tank. But we need to look at some of the names of these people and see the links that these people have. Now, this is off the government website of the UK, so it's easy enough to find because you can look at businesses and who owns them. So this is All Perspectives Limited. Remember the name that we said that Legatum then took control of. So here we have, I'll tell you what we'll do. Filter the current officers. So now there we go. So they only have 5 current acting officers. Lord Agnew, who's even has the residential there, but there you go. Country of residence, United Kingdom. George Farmer. That's a name that we all need to keep a memory of. Country of residence, United States. He's a director. Alan McCormack. Country of residence, United Arab Emirates. Managing director. Baroness Morrissey. United Kingdom of country of residence, and occupation is director. And Mark Stolson, country of residence, United Arab Emirates, occupation CEO. Now, some of you might be looking at these going, these names don't mean anything to you. Right, let's have a look at George Farmer and see who he is, who he's married to, and who his father is. Now, here we have the wiki bio of Candace Owens. You might be looking at this going, what has this woman got to do with George Farmer? Candace Amber Owens Farmer. This is George Farmer's wife. Yes. This didn't take much research to take whatsoever. But spouse, George Farmer, married in 2019. As we can see, this is all her stuff. And personal life, Owens met her British husband, George Farmer, in 2018 at the launch event for Turning Point UK. George Farmer is the son of Lord Farmer. Who is Lord Farmer? Let's have a look at this together, shall we? Michael Stachel Farmer, Baron Farmer. He is currently in the House of Lords in the United Kingdom. Yes, he is. Now, I didn't know too much about him when I first heard of him. I looked at him going, oh, okay, so it's a man who's got his father who's the House of Lords. But it was interesting to see his middle name and then his wife, because Candace has gotten herself into a little bit of trouble lately, and guess what her father-in-law thinks? This is from Jerusalem Post, as you can see from the top. Candace Owens' father-in-law Lord condemns anti-Semitism. Okay, absolutely. If you think, being anti-Semitic, you should, absolutely should be. In light of Owen's controversial livestream featuring theories surrounding Judaism and criticisms of Israel, her father-in-law, Lord Michael Farmer, reiterated his support for Israel. Candace Owen's father-in-law, Lord Michael Farmer, decreed anti-Semitism and defended Israel's military operations against Hamas on Monday night. This is from Lord Farmer defending Israel's soldiers and their military. And do bear in mind, this was dated August 20th, 2024. So this was fairly recent, and this is one of the fathers of a financial backer for GB News. Why is that relevant? Let me show you. Okay, so this is GB News' official YouTube channel, as you can see with the check mark and the followers and the insane amount of videos. Now, trigger warning for anyone who isn't aware of the news story that I'm about to tell you about, because every other news channel showed this CCTV footage, but GB News didn't. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that I must have missed it because it must be in their YouTube videos, because this was world viewed information. It was a leaked security footage from an Israeli prison with Palestinian Gazan detainees lying on the floor, bags over their head, handcuffed, arms behind their backs. One man is picked up by several of these Israeli security guards, walked over to a corner. 4 of these guards put shields up to block the CCTV from seeing what they were doing, and the man was gang raped. Yes. It was a very disturbing and harrowing footage to witness. It was shown on ITV, CNN, it was shown the world over. Now, given the links that I've just shown you with one of the financial backers of GB News, considering who his father is and what his father said, let's give these guys the benefit of the doubt and see if they've actually given fair representation in the news. Now, today's date is the 20th of August. Let's see, when this came out 2 weeks ago, whether these guys have done it. And at the same time, let's go through some of these headlines and see if there is any fair representation along the way, shall we? This could take a few minutes. So, illegal immigrants do commit crimes, must be stopped. I mean, no more than, the white people do in this country, because there's more white people than immigrants, so well done. Right, let's start speeding through some of these, shall we? He said the Poms isn't British. Cash for knives. If you're right wing, you're arrested. If you're left wing, you're not. Okay, apparently that proves 2-tier. Well done, people. Prince Harry will return to the UK within 2 years. Police paying zombie knife handing weapons. Okay. Starmer wants to silence you. Galway stabbing, police investigating terrorist link. Okay. Look at me, I'm not racist. Okay. I think that's GB News' catchphrase, isn't it? We're not racist, we're British. Kate Middleton returns to thing. I think she's been unwell, hasn't she? Lee Anderson urges Tories to listen to Farage. That's a joke, and don't you worry, Lee, I've got a video on you coming out soon as well, pal. Farage cares about Farage. Tories accuse reform. That's true. I mean, considering the man is literally begging for a seat in the Tory party, he's ready to ditch reform, so that's an interesting one, isn't it? No, football, they're not really too fussed about. Nigel Farage, furious intelligence services may investigate. I mean, I'd be furious as well if I was caught doing what he was doing and being talked to. Yeah, sure, furious. Getting caught. UK weather warning, watch your back. Apparently, that must be because of the immigrants, the weather. Jesus, Webb, this is mad, isn't it? Top Labour MP tested over UK disorder handling. Okay. Chilling MPs questioning establishment cover-up. Okay. Like, do they ever actually check any of their sources on these? Nando Carter blasts Sadiq Khan over unsafe London because it's Sadiq Khan's fault. That makes total sense, doesn't it? It's one man's fault that a whole city is not safe. Wake up call to the blatant distortion of angry people. That's the rioters, by the way. A blatant distortion. This is the stuff that these people push. Oh, look, we're coming up to 12 days. Let's see. It was a little over 14 days ago, so it's going to say 2 weeks. And let's start focusing on the headlines here. Now, 2-tier here. Sure. We were worried Britain have more riots, liberal elites. Nigel Farage disgusted at riot blame firing back. I've had to step up my security. What for? Oh, milkshakes, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, I don't agree with him having something thrown at him like that. He's like, again, discussion and dialogue is key, even if a man does lie religiously like Nigel Farage does, as I've proven in a previous video. So, we're at 2 weeks now. Let's see, Gaza mob strikes. Detransitioners to be treated as traitors. That's charming. Who's massacred who? Elon Musk fury. Okay. Now, we're in the 2 week mark. Now, these videos would have been done in order, and if they're doing a number of videos, I still haven't seen it. Witch hunt, people not barred under hotels, and here we have more riots, and those. So, why is it GB News have not got anything on the footage of what those Israeli soldiers did? It's funny that, isn't it? And considering the links that the financial donor George Farmer has with his father, who's in the House of Lords, who has clearly and openly backed the Israeli military. I wonder why GB News is being accused of being anti-Islamic. Now, we're back on the government website with the All Perspectives Limited current officers, even though they've been taken over by Legatum, but they're still under these roles as active, as you can see here. Now, we've looked at George Farmer. I've been looking for information on Lord Agnew. The only information I've currently found is that he resigned his position in the Conservative Partyship under the COVID investigations with fraudulent loans, etc. And that's one of the only things I found on him. So as far as I can tell, no links anywhere. Seems fairly decent. Alan McCormick. Again, there's very little source of what he is online. Only things I've seen are very philanthropic. He's taken part in, along with Mark Stolzen, entrepreneurships in MIT. They've both combined in the Luminous Fund, which is to help combat diseases that are out there in the world that aren't being looked at or taken seriously enough, or something on those lines. But they look like Alan McCormick and Mark Stolzen seem like, from everything that I'm catching online, they seem like genuinely decent human beings who, with a lot of money, are actually trying to make legitimate differences in the world. But considering that they've got links with this Legatum group, who are in the GB News and pushing for media control in other countries as well, it wouldn't surprise me if these two get linked in with other things that come out later on in the years coming. So as it is right now, they both seem like they're calm, everything's fine. Now, as you'll see a name here, Baroness Helena Louise Morrissey. Yes, Baroness in the House of Lords. Baroness. So, 2 out of 4 people in this group who are backers to GB News are in the House of Lords. And may I also just point out Lord Agnew, who, you've guessed it, yes, is in the House of Lords. That's 3 out of 5 members here in the UK House of Lords. I think we should have a little quick look at Baroness Helena Louise Morrissey. So as you can see here, Baroness Morrissey, this is the lady in question. Obviously down there, 1966 born, matches the government website. This is the lady who is that person. Let's have a little look at her wiki, since it should be updated to relatively recent times. And we'll see what the situation is with her, shall we? So, let's go. So, early life at Cambridge. Okay. I had a funny feeling. It's always either Cambridge, Eton, or Oxford, isn't it, with people? He's like, right, so she began her career at New York and London Bonds of Schroders. She moved to Newton Investment Management in the early 1990s as a fixed income fund manager, became Newton's chief executive. As of 2015, it manages £47 billion of assets. Wow. She must be bloody good at her job. In July 21, Morrissey joined the board of AJ Bell before becoming chair in January. Morrissey announced in September that she was resigning as chair of the board. All Perspectives Limited, the company behind GB News, which we know is Legatum, gained the Baroness as a director in 2022. So, the woman who is financing GB News is also a director of GB News. Right. Okay, let's have a look at other activities. That's always the interesting chapter in there, isn't it? Alright, Morrissey's the author of a book, Good Time to Be a Girl, 2018. She was a guest on BBC Radio 4. Fair enough. Morrissey was criticised in 2021 after she tweeted there was no current pandemic and CCP fake videos started this. Oh. Okay, so one of the only articles I've actually found on Baroness Helena Morrissey, mainly because Morrissey comes up, he keeps coming up with the singer Morrissey and his far extreme views on things. So far, only thing I've managed to find is that she voted pro-Brexit. Shock, I know. So, this woman who's in the House of Lords, who's a director person of GB News, who's also a financial backer of GB News, along with another member of the House of Lords, and another member financially backer, whose father is in the House of Lords. And these are people with very right-wing agendas. How is this right? I wonder if the people who support GB News, are you very much aware of who is pushing this narrative and rhetoric that GB News do? Who's funding these people with these views? And does it not bother you, anyone who supports GB News, with the fact that they did not show the security footage of those Israeli soldiers raping that prisoner? Every other news network showed it. Even Fox did. Even Fox News, of all places, they showed it. Reuters had it. BBC had it. Sky News had it. ITV had it. Channel 4 had it. 5 Live had it. Radio stations had it. Why is it GB News didn't? Okay, so a few things that we can now address from the information that I've just provided for you. First of all, 2 of the financial backers are directly in the House of Lords. A third financial backer has his father directly in the House of Lords. That's 3 out of 5 people with direct links to politics in the United Kingdom who have a very high societal standing. Now, given the fact that it's safe to say that all 5 of these financial backers voted for Brexit hard way, same as Sir Paul Marshall, who I haven't got onto yet because I'm going to do a whole different video on him, and the sheer fact that Lord Farmer stated his clear support firmly for the Israeli military literally yesterday or the day before, considering the fact that GB News still has not, it's not on their website, there's no articles, there's no videos on the YouTube channel, they have not addressed anything Israel has done, especially the serial rape situation of Hamas prisoners. And I have to say Hamas prisoners because apparently every single prisoner that Israel have are all Hamas, which is quite strange considering how many prisoners they've actually got. Now, the fact that there are people out in Israel protesting for the freedom and anonymity of these soldiers is beyond contemplation for sanity, and what on earth people think is going on voting for support of serial rapists. Now, question is, why have GB News not shown that footage? Why have they not said anything about Israel? Why is it always about immigrants? Why is it always about crime where immigrants commit? Why? Even though statistically, here in the UK, majority of people in prison are white British people for violent crimes. Why is it that GB News propagate immigration only? Why? You have to ask yourself these questions. What is going to be so beneficial for these backers to keep pumping GB News with what they're doing? Bearing in mind that GB News is under investigation for multiple regulation breaches from Ofcom. What is the gain? These financial backers have so much money, politically, so much power. They have investments across the country, across the media. What do they have to gain from all this? There is something they all have to gain, and I guarantee you it is going to be the moolah. They do not care about giving you the truth. They do not care about you or anyone else in this country. All these people care about is their back pocket and themselves. That is all they care about. All people with power and money want is more power, more money. None of them actually care. Mark Stolesley and Alan McCormick, to be fair, those two, credit where it's due and for fair representation, they have at least given a load of money to different charities around the world, and they are also spending a lot of money investing in fighting illnesses in third world countries that they can't afford to have. So credit where it's due on those two, but still safe to very much assume and say that they voted hard for Brexit, otherwise they wouldn't be putting their own resources into GB News. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people going with the, oh, what about this? What about that? The whataboutisms are going to be rife in this, and I've got no doubt I'm going to have a lot of nasty comments as well. I will be doing in-depth reviews on Sky News, Sky B, BBC, ITV, and it's not going to be the content that they're just pushing out, even though I've briefly mentioned it here, because I will briefly mention it in those videos as well. I will look at who financially is backing these people and these companies, because it's only fair that I do. Now, stop believing everything that these media people just inherently tell you. Bear in mind, GB News do not verify their sources. They just get told things and run with it. It's beyond a joke what they are doing. Now, I'm not saying that there's a conspiracy theory on absolutely everything. No, what I am suggesting and telling you all to do is question what you are told. There is nothing wrong with asking questions. All you have to say is, where do they get that piece of information from? Question, why have they given us that piece of information? How have they said it, and why have they said it in the way that they have? Why have they portrayed it in the way that they have? Compare what they say with news articles compared to other media outlets. You can see the contrasting difference. Check the sources, check the credibility, and then come up with your own reasons for it and your own views. Don't just inherently believe someone like Nigel Farage, who has never worked for anyone who isn't a multi-millionaire from another country. You have to ask yourselves, what does someone from another country want with our country? Farage only ever works with and for multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires from other countries and continents. Doesn't sound like it's very British support to me. It's incredible what people believe, really is. And as always, look out for each other, take care of each other, and I'll see you again for the next video.